yourself.
Thanks, Mark. Really excited to be here. A little bit about myself. Born and raised in Halifax, Uniacke Square specifically. Lived here all my life. Lived in Kingston the past 4 years. That was about 2 years ago for university. Went to Queen's University, graduated from there. But by then the business was already started. So came back home and continue on with the business with my brothers. And that's me in a nutshell. On the Africville Heritage Trust Board, very involved in community. And yeah, I studied geography and planning at Queen's University, minored in global development, looking to get back into planning in the near future as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Very good. So thank you, Treno, for being here with us. Really, it's great to talk to you today about your success, the business that you are running with your brothers. So first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about how the whole business came to fruition, from the idea to the way you started executing on it, and tell us a little bit about the business.
Going back to like the very beginning, like before conception of the business, I used to play university sports. I'm epileptic, so I had seizures all my life. So after I stopped playing, I had like a teammate of mine come to me and told me how like he's seen people had success like lowering their seizure amounts using cannabis. So I just heard it stigmatized all my life, heard my mother just always talking bad about it, like most adults do. So just something I always stayed away from, but it's something I found success in. It helped me a lot with my seizures since using. I've only had one seizure, so just something that really helped me there. And one day, me and my brothers just got to talking, and we wanted to start a business for a long time, but we weren't sure what we wanted to do. So we just thought how we were always buying rolling papers. So that was the idea we went with. And our older brother, who has a bit of a business background, has his own properties and stuff like that, he helped us with that, the business portion of it. So we kind of walked and talked. We threw out names. Then I threw out the name Fumes, and that ended up sticking. And from there, it was just finding a logo. My brother's girlfriend actually ended up doing the graphic designing. She was self-taught. She taught herself how to do it. And we just kind of told her what we wanted. We got some rough sketches and we just kept refining, and we came to the logo we ultimately have today.
Wow, very good. So technically, it's a family business. It's three brothers, and honestly, I know you from a long time, but I didn't know that you are epileptic, and this is how the whole story started. So, it's great to see that you are now doing much better. So, tell me a little bit. When we talk about brothers. We all understand that yes, there is this synergy, there is this bond which we have as a family bond, but as well we have this kind of differences, right? So tell me a little bit how easy or difficult it is to manage the different personalities and to keep this relationship, a healthy relationship with your brothers, but still being able to take business decisions. And sometimes I am sure you're not agreeing on everything, right?
Yeah, like anyone, it's hard to agree on everything, but I think the main challenge is trying to turn the business hat off, or like trying to take the business hat off. We just spend so much time around each other, and we care so much about the business because it's just something we all started together. So we always want to make it the best that it can be. So just like I said, no one wanted to turn it off and just be like family and spend time together. So I feel like that's the only problem we have. But in terms of differences, I feel like we made that a strength in terms of knowing what each individual is good at and when to take the lead on different things. Like my brother Josh, he has a great like marketing sense, so he likes to take the lead on marketing. I like to, I'm big on grammar and stuff like that. So when it comes to applying for grant funding and stuff like that, I love to write those up, help with the editing, things like that. And my eldest brother, Tyler, like I said, he has a business background and just he's great with numbers and he has a wealth of knowledge that we don't yet. So just kind of living and learning through him as well. So.
Wow, so you are really complementary, right? Each one has a completely different skill sets, and you are able to really bring it into the business and add value to the business. So let us talk a little bit about the history before we start talking about your success and where you are today. So, what were the major challenges that you have faced while setting up the business? We understand that you are uh, uh, selling accessories, but still within the cannabis environment, and this is how you are known. We know that this is a growing industry, but still it has some, I would call, stigma from different kinds uh, of players in the market. So I am sure you hit many walls before you were able to start getting this mainstream acceptance in the market. Tell us a little bit about these challenges that you had at the early stages of the business.
Yeah, I think like looking at the like legal industry as a whole, it's only been legal for the past 5 years, so it's still fairly early. So, like you said, getting that acceptance was difficult initially, especially mid-pandemic, trying to get people to buy in. But I think we knew consumers would be for it, but retailers were a bit more of a sell. I feel like the biggest barrier for us was just like stigma around, like you said, the product and like cannabis as a whole. But being African Nova Scotian, kind of going into stores, three Black brothers, we'd kind of get looked at in some stores. Because sometimes we'd like to go in, shop, or we didn't like to always go up to the stores if there was customers in there. We'd like to be professional in that sense. So sometimes we'd go in, pick out something to buy, and then go buy it, like, and then start our pitch from there. So we kind of get these stares as we come in, like, hey, what are these guys doing? Then we turn around and do our pitch, like, hey, this is the business that we own. We'd like to get our product into your stores, and just kind of the befuddlement we see on store owners' faces from that. It's always it's a bittersweet feeling. Like, it's great knowing we have our own product, and like we kind of not showed them up in a sense, but like um, what's the word? Kind of proved them wrong, or like took away like any misconceptions they had about us from the jump. So that's just always a great feeling for us. And we wish it didn't happen as often as it did, but it just comes with the territory, I guess. But it's something we've overcome from the jump. And outside of that problem, like I said, it's just getting buy-in from store owners sometimes, and with a cannabis related product, and so many store owners being older people, and just the stigma around it and stuff like that. So but we always show them how our product is different. We have the magnet enclosure on our package, which makes it a little bit sturdier. We always tell individuals how they're biodegradable once you take our magnet off. So you can take it off, hang a picture with it, do what you want with it, and then just recycle the package. So we try to be mindful in that sense. We have our dual king size package, which has 64 papers instead of your standard 32. We're working on our king size with tips, because at first we heard from consumers how they wanted more papers. Now they want papers with tips. So kind of going backwards on that. But we just always try to put the consumer first and make a great product. And that's how we avoid having any problems. We know we're selling what people want, and that's how we sell to the retailer so easily.
Yeah, wow, this is great. Like I am a big fan of marketing and strategy, and now it's music to my ears when I see that you really took care of the packaging and the product design and the quantities and what the consumer wants, being consumer centric. Really, this is like uh, I think this is where it's going to give you the path to success, because you are really taking care of your customers and the consumer and their needs. So I am sure that you are saying that you were the first to market this kind of packaging with the magnetic strip, right? So that you close the package correctly. Tell me a little bit, was it a problem to find someone to produce it for you, since it was the first time being done, or it was an easy path to make this happen?
No, it's not the first time being done. We know it costs a little bit more to do, so not everyone does it. So you'll see a lot more packages that fall apart, and you're just being in your pocket or from general use. So that's something we knew we had issues with, and we knew we wanted to avoid with our products, like being consumers ourselves, and just from like constantly reaching out to our customers. So not the first time it's been done, but just something that's done less because it's a bit more of a cost. But we've, like I said, we've always wanted to put our customers first. I know from taking your marketing course, that's something you always preach to, and something I always try to take back to my brothers, just everything I learned from that course as well. So just always putting the consumers first, creating products that they want to see. Manufacturing wasn't an issue because it was being done, but just finding a manufacturer that could do everything we wanted to do to our specifications just took some R&D, just doing the research and finding the right manufacturer that matched with what we wanted to do.
Okay, okay, that's great. So we spoke about the challenges. We spoke about that again, that the industry was not really yet helping you much, simply because it was in a way uh, some people had negative feelings towards the industry. Then we spoke a little bit about your challenges as being, as a business, black-owned business, and how when you were going to the different retailers or stores. But if we fast forward a little bit, you really reached a great success story, because I remember that you told me that you were the first local Black-owned business that is now selling at NSLC. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this success? And again, how easy or difficult was it to just reach there, where I know many businesses are really aiming to be with NSLC and in their distribution channel, and you were able in a way to hit the jackpot with it. So tell me a little bit about it.
Um, it really started with going to those retail stores, becoming HRM wide, and just doing the groundwork. It took a lot of work in the early stages because, like I said, the cannabis industry as a whole is still very much in its infancy stages. So not much support from retailers. So it took a lot of convincing and letting them know, like, we did our research. We know these are products that the customers wanted to see. And even sometimes doing it on consignment and them selling out our packages, and then doing out multiple orders going forward. So just getting that buy-in from those retailers, getting constant, like, um, constant retailer coming back to us, and just building that customer retailer relationship helped us a lot in the beginning. And from there, it was just knowing where we wanted to go. We know the NSLC is only doing like their expression of interest annually, or like certain times a year. So we knew we had like a certain window to get in there. So that's when we did, we wanted to do more groundwork and basically expand to like Bedford, and not just stay like local to our homes, and basically expand more. So we went to Bedford, the Sackvilles, and just kept going from there and meeting different retailers. Like I said, getting repeat buyers, and always updating our store tracker, interacting constantly with our consumers, letting them know we're in this store. What store would you like to see us in? So they helped us a lot grow and expand. So just working with consumers to get in stores that they want to see us in, helping make products that they want to buy. That just helped us a lot in the beginning. And then from there, getting into NSLC, it was a fairly straightforward process, but it just took us a lot of time because of like insurance and things like that. So just a lot of technical things. But once you're in NSLC, it's been like pretty much smooth sailing from here. Just a lot of, like anything, just a lot of technicalities and yeah, red tape.
Yeah. Well, this is really a success story. I am always happy to see local businesses being able to penetrate the big distribution companies or the big local retailers, and to see that the big brands are really embracing local businesses and they are supporting them. So we have to thank them. We have to thank NSLC and the others who are either helping you or helping other businesses to just have an additional presence. And we all know that actually after COVID or during COVID, we all suffered and we really need their support. So this is great synergy to see how the community is helping each other and how we are trying to reach excellence together. So this is really great. Um, so I am sure that anyone who's now watching us live on Zoom or on Facebook, I just want to ask anyone if you have any questions for Trino, just put it in the Q&A on Zoom or on the chat or on the comments in on the live feed on Facebook. Uh, but also, let us tell a little bit anyone who's watching this with us live or will be watching the replay in the future. Let me ask you this. Every business to start off the ground requires funding and setup, right? So let's talk a little bit. We're not going to ask you about how much money, but tell me a little bit about the process. Like, was it your own funding? Was it like your own savings as three brothers, or you were able to raise more funds from different um, programs, grants, loans? Tell us how was this journey so that you were able to bring funding for the business so that it becomes a solid business in the market?
From the early stages, it's been self-funded. So me and my two brothers funding the business out of pocket, trying to grow and expand it ourselves. I think for us, just keeping it Black owned and like knowing who owns the business was very important to us, and not having anyone like sway our judgment or ultimately having any control over our business. So just making sure it was 100% owned by us. We had control over like what was happening with the business, and that was just really important to us. In terms of like loans and grants, it's more something we're looking at now, but thus far it's just been self-funding, making orders, selling them, and them just paying for the next one. So
Wow, this is also like you are, I would say you are really three brave brothers, right? That to set up a full business, to take your own uh, savings in a way and put the money into the business because I am sure that you believe in the business and this is why it's a successful one. So talking about that, I am sure you have some future plans. So, how are you looking at growing the business, and what are, in a way, the high level, without giving us any secrets or anything that is very confidential? But tell us a little bit about how you're seeing the future of the business.
mm, um, you say brave, I say confident. We were just confident in our abilities and knowing what we wanted to do. And like I said, we're always constantly reaching out to customers and consumers, and being consumers ourselves, we know in a sense like what they want, and it only helps reaching out to our consumers and like getting constant feedback on what they want to see. So we're not making anything they're not going to want in the end, so that only helps us. And things that we're looking at now, like I said, we're looking at grants and loans currently because we're looking to acquire another business,
Oh,
another
wow.
rolling, yeah, another rolling paper company, mainly because it's only going to help with us expanding our distribution channels. They have a lot of great like strategies and practices already in place that will only help us expand um, our product getting added to their distribution line.
Mhm.
That more like that's instant income right there just from acquiring the business. So it's just something we're really excited to do. Excited about acquiring another brand, making it Black owned, and just keeping it the same, but in a way making it our own and revamping it, and just like the story that that would create in the end, and just um, without
Yeah,
getting.
this is big. Like even if the acquisition is not big in monetary value, but the process and the way you are thinking is very forward looking. And acquiring other businesses to grow is really usually it's the game of large players, big organizations, and there you go. You are in a way playing in the I would call it you are in the Premier League now, right? You're not anymore into the League A or something. So doing that, I am sure it's really a very proud moment for all of you. But just to follow up on this, I have a question from Dolores, who is with us here live on Zoom. And she asked the question saying, what are the challenges you and your brothers encounter to success and how you overcome them? So again, probably this is one of your success moments when you are thinking of growing and acquiring another business. So what would be your answer to Dolores?
Um, uh, Whenever I get that question, the main problem I think of, like every business owner faced, was COVID. Um, I know that affected like shipment times and things like that. So a way we kind of counteracted that was just like explaining the situation to our vendors and letting them know like shipment may be a little bit late, but taking pre-orders and getting those set up ahead of time, and just kind of budgeting like the money we will be having in and setting that aside for orders. And we kind of got a sense of how long things are going to take with like COVID impacting them. So that kind of helped us get back on track with things.
Okay, that's great. So now talking about the future outlook and then your challenges that you had in the past. Let's a little bit zoom out from the business and let's try to talk about the industry. So what are your I wouldn't say only feelings, but because you know about the industry, what are your perception or your thoughts about the future of the industry? You being into the accessory side, um, of the cannabis business. How do you see it? Do you see it that it will be stagnating? It will be growing? We know that we are all talking that, and most of the economists are saying that 2023 would be in a recession. We're going to start feeling it. So tell me a little bit about what you think about it, what you think is would be the impact on your business and on the industry in general.
Yeah, with the cannabis industry being in its infancy stages, I only see it growing and getting larger, especially like with the things happening in Canada. If you look at like the legalizations in Vancouver recently, I only see the cannabis industry growing and becoming more accepting and less stigmatized. I think when we have more decision makers that not use cannabis per se, but just understand the plant more and the just medical benefits and stuff like that, I think we'll have individuals and places that can make more informed decisions instead of making decisions based purely on a stigma. Um, but I only see it growing and becoming more fruitful and just economically fruitful in the next few years to come.
Yeah, I think you are right. You know, the whole industry, as you said, is still at its infancy, and I think the only way is up. So anyone who's already into the business or into the industry will see growth over time. Anyone who wants to enter the industry, it's still not too late to be a player in the industry. Which is really great for you, because I always believe that I believe in competition. So the more you have competition, the more the ecosystem grows, the more the industry grows, and then the more the value on in the of the industry is going to grow. So in this respect, uh, are you just available for now in Nova Scotia, or you already expanded beyond the boundaries of our province?
Mm. We say we're Canada wide because we are in like dispensaries and some shops in like every province across Canada outside of the Northwest Territory. But we aren't yet in all like government stores. So we're looking to expand to like Cannabis PEI and Cannabis New Brunswick. We're really excited about expanding to Cannabis New Brunswick just because of the way they market the flower. NSLC, we find, likes to focus more on just beer, craft beer, and stuff like that in their marketing. So just having a store that focuses on both and is willing to advertise cannabis a little bit more freely, I feel like that'll help with our sales a lot more. I feel like NSLC here does a good job because it's like the only store that strictly sells cannabis that doesn't do half and half. So I feel like they do a great job marketing in that way. But in terms of like their social medias and like the online presence, I feel like we're really excited about partnering and getting into Cannabis New Brunswick for that reason. And going back to your previous question, just something I want to say on that is, I'm trying to remember. I lost my train of thought. I was going to say, Actually, I lost it again.
It's okay,
So,
no problem. We can get back to it. If you remember what you wanted to say, don't worry. I have a follow-up question for you. Now that you have touched a little bit about how to market for cannabis products, and we know that it is a regulated market and few things you can do, others. Sorry?
I just remembered what I was going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned like stigma and something like that. I mentioned policymakers, but something else that affected us a great deal was even just being on our online store, we found that some people, like payment processors, wouldn't pick us up because we were cannabis related or tobacco related products. So, and even with some of the grants and loans we apply for, we find that's a big issue for us. So even though we're strictly rolling papers and we sell to the NSLC that also sells cannabis, we just as well sell to corner stores that don't sell cannabis. So it's just hard dealing with that stigma sometimes, and just how that just sets us back in some places.
Yeah, Trino, I remember we spoke last week offline without naming any company or brand. It was difficult for you to approach them to get some funding, whether it is a form of a loan or a grant, simply because you are in the industry. We all know that you're not selling the cannabis, you're just selling the accessories, and then still you are having lots of difficulties. Not because it's not what you're doing is not legal, simply because the mindset didn't yet change in terms of accepting to be associated with this industry. So, but as you said, I think because we are still at the early stages of the whole industry growing, there is a huge learning curve that is going to happen from all sides, whether your partners, your consumers, um, and all the what I would call the complementary ecosystem that is around you, until they start really embracing your products and what you're doing. So in the same, you know, logic or within the same topic, now that we spoke that it's still early stages of the industry and many can still enter the business. So from your experience and probably the many walls that you have hit along your path, what would you give as an advice to anyone who wants to enter the industry in a way of do's and don'ts, what they can advertise, what they can talk about, why it's what they cannot talk about? Because I know that it is a regulated industry, so you need to abide by many rules and regulations around your business.
I'd say do your research. Like if you're getting into a specific industry, like us with rolling papers, do your research, know what kind of papers people are looking for, do that stuff ahead of time. Take the time to find a manufacturer that works for you, that's willing to like work to all your specifications and tailor to your needs. Be willing to learn. That was something that was big for us, just with other companies that's been in the industry since conception. They helped a lot with us in the early stages, and we find everyone in this industry very friendly and accepting and just willing to help companies grow, competitor or not. So that's just something that helped us a lot, being willing to learn, but also being willing to put your nose to the ground, do the research, and just do the hard work.
Yeah, very good. You know, this is a great advice, is that do your um, uh, legwork before, do your research, talk to different people within the industry. This is really great advice for anyone to start learning. And you know, I will be honest with you, when we spoke and we decided to host you on this webinar, I had in the back of my mind few question mark, like, should I do that? Should I associate my brand with cannabis? Right? You know, and really, I really thought about it, and and then I said, you know what? The industry is growing. I want to support anyone who is doing that. And definitely, I knew about your business. And now, to be honest, while talking, this feed is going live on Facebook. So I don't know if Facebook is going later to flag the recorded session because there is the keyword cannabis in the description, and then it might be against their community rules. So I don't know yet. So let's do it will be our first test together to see how the social media is also embracing and supporting without really advertising for the product, but actually talking about the industry and trying to increase awareness and raise awareness among the consumers and even the potential partners and anyone who would like to enter the industry, and see if the communication and the discussion about the industry is really allowed in different environments. So Trina, I will let you know if Facebook is going to flag our live stream later, or the recording of the live stream later. So it would be good follow up to know what's gonna happen. Uh, and did you face any problems? Now to go back a little bit to social media, you know, you are active somehow on social media. Did you face any like posts that were removed, anything that were in a way flagged, warnings that you received from different platforms, or not really?
Definitely had our fair share of posts taken down. Just specific rules you have to adhere to, mostly like smoke being shown in photos. Like it's okay if you have like an unlit joint in your hand, but you can't have, or we find like photos showing smoke or stuff like that have more likelihood to be taken down.
Okay, so there are still some, in a way, social media community rules that you should follow. Otherwise, your post or your communication will not reach the intended audience. And, you know, somehow I understand the rules and the regulation around that. We need to respect the audienceship. And honestly, you don't know who is actually seeing these posts. So probably it's for the best for everyone's interest to have this kind of rules. But also sometimes as a business owner, it's very frustrating, right? Like you're doing all the efforts, you want to spread the word, you want to grow, and then all of a sudden you face this kind of limitations.
The thing
So definitely it's frustrating.
Yeah, the thing that's frustrating, like especially frustrating for us, is that since we're a cannabis company, or not cannabis company, since we're a rolling paper company, we have to market ourselves as 19 plus. So we adhere to like a specific audience, and we feel that the posts that have been taken down aren't anything crazy. Like I said, it's just when you're partaking in the act of smoking, that's where they feel the need to take posts down. So yeah.
Okay, okay. You know, I always say as long as you know the rules and you play by the rules, technically you shouldn't face any major issue on the communication side, whether it is social media or mainstream media. Um, so this is definitely a great advice for anyone who's listening to us and watching us, so that they know what they can do and what they cannot do. Of course, we encourage everyone to read very carefully the regulations and the terms and conditions of any environment where they are trying to advertise or to communicate about their cannabis related business. So talking about that, tell me a little bit, like, if any consumer wants to find you, where they will find you. We spoke about an SLC, of course, so definitely you are there. But where else they can find you? Do you have a website? Can you sell online? Tell us a little bit about, you know, let's do a 3 minutes promo time for your business. Tell us a little bit where I can find your products in the market.
Shameless plug. If you go to our website, highofffumes.com, the easiest place to find us, if you just scroll to the bottom of the main page, we have our store finder. So you can just zoom out and then show you all our locations in general. But if you live in the Halifax area, you can zoom out and look at HRM and look at the store closest to you.
Very good. And you sell online, like can I place an order online and you deliver, or not yet?
You can place a order on our online shop, and you can send us any questions or just any general questions or information you want. You can email us on there as well.
Okay, well, there you go, the 3 minutes promo time that we promised our audience to have. So there you go. If anyone is interested in getting the accessories or trying to understand a little bit more about Trino's business, go to their website and social media. You have Instagram, right? You have an Instagram page.
find our social media, Twitter and everything else like linked on our website, but you can find us on Instagram. That's our main account, High Off Fumes 247, the same handle on Twitter. But we're mainly on Instagram. You can message us there. We're usually pretty responsive. Like I said, we try to interact with customers, just hear their wants and need, because it only makes us a better business at the end of the day. And there's a link to the store from there as well. So you can go straight to our website and place an order there. And we do
Wow,
deliver.
that's great. That's great. So you have different aspects of the business. I just want to go back. We still have the last 3 to 5 minutes today, and I want to, get as much information I can from you, just to tell the audience about how to run a business and what it takes to run a business. So tell me a little bit more about you. What is your exact role in the business? What are you? What you are a gatekeeper of what?
My official title is the director of operations. So, like I said, I do a lot of like contacting, loan and grant writing. Um, we all work on the, like our business plan and stuff like that. We've been refining that for like sending off to the banks and different loans and stuff like that. So, working on documents, emailing different people. I try to be in charge of like communications, and getting us into different publications, art, newspaper, stuff like that. So just like the day-to-day stuff. Like I said, my other brother, Josh, he does the marketing. And my eldest brother, Tyler, he's behind the marketing, the shipping out of packages and stuff like that, because he has a bit more free time throughout the day. Whereas myself, during the day, I work as a community engagement specialist at a nonprofit here in Halifax called Inspiring Communities. Might have left that out in my bio. And my other brother, Josh, he works at the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. Whereas my eldest brother, Tyler, he's mainly like managing his properties and stuff like that. So he has the time to like drop packages off and like ship them out. So that's what he handles and like the numbers.
Okay, so you are really three busy brothers, right? It's like you do many things, like I think many other people, and uh, and you are managing a business, and you are on the board of a not-for-profit organization. Why don't you tell us in the last 2 minutes of our webinar today, what is this not-for-profit about, just to help them as well get more awareness?
Oh, the nonprofit I work at, we do a lot of different initiatives, like the one I'm currently working on. Everything we do is basically grant work. So we got a grant, the Halifax grant, which has to be centered around like climate change or food insecurity. We got that grant for $5,000, and I happen to be put in charge of the funding. So I wanted to do something in and around my community, Uniacke Square. So we're educating African Nova Scotian youth and Middle Eastern youth from Uniacke Square, as well as Mulgrave Park area, on climate change and food insecurity. And by the end of the session, we're gonna break off into different groups with the speakers that came in to like educate the kids and just come away with 2 to 3 ideas that we can implement in community. Then there's going to be a second session to just refine the ideas and hopefully come away with like 1 or 2. And we're applying for additional funding right now to actually pay for the whatever comes from the initiative. So just looking to do things in community that are long and withstanding, because there's just been so many one-offs in my community. In terms of the organization as a whole, like I said, it's depends on the grants we received, and we have like sister organizations as well. One in Digby called Northside Rising, and another one in Cape Breton called Turning the Tide. So they do their own different things, like the one in Cape Breton, they're facing a lot of like flooding and stuff like that up there.
Mhm.
So they do a lot of work to counteract that. So just a lot of different things. It depends on the grant we receive sometimes, depends on what part of the organization gets the funding. But for me, I just love the fact that the work is on the ground and happening right now. That's something that made me want to come here like immediately after graduating, as opposed to my degree and going and working for the city right away. Like I said, I'm looking at applying and going back to the city for planning at the moment, but I just love the work that I do. I love that I'm able to do work within my community and just do something that's long and withstanding um, within community as well. And that the youth are going to be a part of it and see something that they help create for years to come.
Wow, this is really great, Trino. It's like uh, I always encourage anyone to be involved with this kind of not-for-profit or any not-for-profit, because it's great to be part of the community and to help the community in all the ways we can. Uh, Despite our busy schedule, having a business to run and other stuff to run as well, but this is really great to see um, motivated people like you and anyone who is like you doing this kind of great job. So thank you so much for being so much involved in the community and congratulations on running such an amazing business and successful one. So now, unfortunately, we are reaching towards the end of our webinar. So Trino, I want to really thank you for your time, for being here with us, celebrating all together the Black History Month and celebrating Black-owned businesses, successful ones, people whom I met along my path here, and you were one of them who really made an impact, impressed me with what you're doing. And I like the stories of family businesses because I am myself on the board of the Family Business Association here in Atlantic Canada, and I understand the challenges and the joy that you might have when you have a successful family business. So thank you so much for being here. I just want to ask you if you have any final words to anyone who's watching us or listening to us, and then we'll end the session for today.
No, firstly, I want to say thank you for having me today, Mark. I'm just excited to be a part of this. Words I have for anyone watching, just anyone who's even slightly interested in being an entrepreneur, just take the first step, do the research, take the time to see what potential consumers would want before you pour money into something. It's easy to tie money up into product, as we know. So just do the R&D, be smart about what you're doing, and it's not as impossible as it seems. It helps when you have intelligent and hardworking people around you, but sometimes it's only you. But you have to take that first step, do the research, and just do the groundwork. There's no replacement for that except just doing it.
Very good. Thank you so much, Trino, for your time. It was really a pleasure. Definitely, I will be always following your news and I will be always cheering you and supporting you. And I hope to see this acquisition coming to fruition and then to see how you are going to grow your business further. And then one day I would say to everyone, I know him.
I
Very
appreciate it.
good. Thank you so much, Trino. Have a great day, and we'll keep on talking later. Take care, everyone. Thank you for being with us, anyone who is here on Zoom and live on Facebook. Thank you. Have a great day.